The silent vanguard. Captain Maya Patel stood motionless on the bridge of the ESS Nightshade, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the massive Kralaxian warfleet approaching Earth's outer defense perimeter. The alien vessels, each nearly the size of Manhattan, moved with an arrogance that came from centuries of unchallenged military superiority. They had no reason to expect this conquest would be any different from their previous 100 victories. They were wrong. All stations, initiate Protocol Phantom, Maya commanded, her voice steady despite the weight of humanity's future resting on her shoulders. Around her, the bridge crew worked with practiced precision, activating the technology that had consumed Earth's resources and scientific minds for the past decade. The Nightshade began to change. Its hull, composed of billions of quantum-responsive nanomaterials, shifted its fundamental structure. Light, gravity, and even time itself began to flow around the ship like water around a stone. To the approaching Kralaxian fleet, the Nightshade simply ceased to coexist. Status report, Maya requested, watching as the enemy fleet continued their approach, completely unaware of the human vessel now ghosting through their formation. Quantum field stable at 99.8%. Lieutenant Sarah Chen reported from her station. Dark matter containment holding steady. We're completely invisible to all known forms of detection. The Kralaxians had arrived 3 months ago, their message simple and direct. Surrender Earth and its colonies, or face extinction. They didn't expect negotiations. They didn't want resources. Their society was built on a simple principle: the strong consume the weak, and they had never encountered a civilization they couldn't overwhelm with sheer force. But humanity had spent the last century preparing for this moment, ever since their long-range sensors first detected the Kralaxian Empire's expansion toward Earth. While other species devoted their resources to building bigger ships and more powerful weapons, humanity had taken a different approach. Multiple targeting solutions acquired. Weapons Officer James Rodriguez announced quietly. The Kralaxian flagship's quantum shielding has 7 structural weaknesses. Their fleet formation has 12 major vulnerability points. Maya nodded but didn't give the order to fire. The Nightshade carried enough firepower to cripple the entire Kralaxian fleet, but that wasn't their mission. This was about more than just survival. It was about changing the very nature of interstellar warfare. Begin Phase 2, she ordered. The bridge crew initiated the most ambitious part of their plan. The Nightshade's quantum field began to expand, its impossible physics reaching out to touch the Kralaxian vessels. Data started flowing into their systems as the ship's AI decoded the aliens' quantum-encrypted communications. The Kralaxians had never encountered anything like this. Their sensors showed nothing unusual, but their ship's systems began experiencing subtle anomalies. Navigation coordinates shifted by microscopic amounts. Power fluctuations occurred in patterns too complex to be random. Their mighty warships were being compromised without a single shot being fired. First Officer Kumar to the bridge. Maya's communicator chirped. The package is ready. Maya allowed herself a small smile. Acknowledge. Begin transmission. The package was humanity's masterstroke, a quantum virus designed not to destroy but to reveal. As it spread through the Kralaxian fleet's networks, it began showing them everything. The full capabilities of the Nightshade, the numerous other human stealth ships scattered throughout their empire, and most importantly, the fundamental flaw in their philosophy of strength. The Kralaxian flagship's communications array suddenly activated, broadcasting on all frequencies. This is High Commander Zextal of the Kralaxian Empire. We request immediate dialogue with Earth's leadership. Maya's crew maintained their professional composure, but she could feel their pride. Humanity had just accomplished something unprecedented. They had defeated the galaxy's most powerful military force without firing a single shot. This is Captain Maya Patel of the Earth spaceship Nightshade, she responded, allowing the Nightshade to partially materialize, its sleek form shimmering like a mirage among the massive Kralaxian warships. We accept your request for dialogue. and we have much to discuss about the future of interstellar relations. As she prepared for the historic first peaceful contact with the Kralaxians, Maya reflected on humanity's journey to this moment. They had refused to accept the traditional paradigm of military power. Instead, they had transformed their fear of extinction into innovation, their desperation into inspiration. They had proven that true strength lay not in the ability to destroy, but in the power to fundamentally change the rules of the game. The silent vanguard had completed its mission. Humanity's first step into the galactic community would not be marked by destruction, but by the demonstration of a better way forward. The age of traditional warfare was over. The age of human innovation had begun. Echoes of innovation. The Grand Council chamber aboard the Kralaxian flagship felt impossibly vast, its crystalline walls stretching up into darkness. Maya Patel sat across from High Commander Exile, their contrasting forms highlighting the fundamental differences between their species. Where the Kralaxian leader was a towering figure of iridescent scales and brutal efficiency, Maya appeared almost fragile in comparison. But appearances, as humanity had just proven, could be deceiving. Your technology defies our understanding, Exile rumbled, multiple sets of eyes focusing on Maya with an intensity that would have once been threatening. Now it merely reflected confusion and curiosity. Our scientists insist that what your ship accomplished should be impossible. Maya activated a small holographic projector, allowing a miniature version of the Nightshade to materialize between them. Humanity learned long ago that the impossible is often simply the undiscovered. When we detected your empire's expansion, we had a choice: attempt to match your military might, or find a different path entirely. The hologram shifted, showing the quantum wave architecture that allowed the Nightshade to slip between the very fabric of space-time. Lieutenant Chen, standing behind Maya, began explaining the basic principles, carefully omitting the most crucial details while still demonstrating humanity's mastery of sciences the Kralaxians had never even theorized. Exile's command staff watched in stunned silence as humanity revealed innovation after innovation, the quantum virus that had penetrated their supposedly impenetrable networks, the dark matter manipulation that allowed human ships to observe their entire empire undetected, the fundamental reimagining of what space warfare could be. Why reveal this now? Exile finally asked. With such capabilities, you could have simply watched us destroy ourselves trying to find you. Maya deactivated the hologram, her expression serious. Because that would have perpetuated the cycle of domination and fear that has haunted intelligent life since we first looked to the stars. Humanity believes in a different possibility. Before Exile could respond, alarms began blaring throughout the flagship. A junior officer burst into the chamber, their scales shifting to warning colors. High Commander, the Nexus Array has detected multiple quantum anomalies throughout our territory. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Maya remained calm as Exile turned to her, rage and fear warring in their ancient eyes. An invasion force. No, Maya replied, activating another hologram. This one showed the entire Kralaxian Empire, with countless points of light representing human stealth ships. These are archaeological teams, scientific expeditions, cultural observers. For the past 20 years, humanity has been studying every spacefaring civilization in known space, not to conquer, but to understand. The revelation hit the Kralaxian command staff like a physical blow. Their entire concept of military superiority, of strength through dominance, was being systematically dismantled. They weren't just facing a new type of weapon. They were encountering a fundamentally different way of thinking about power and progress. Your empire expanded through conquest because you believed it was the only way to ensure survival. Maya continued. We're offering an alternative. Humanity has developed technologies that could transform every aspect of your society. Medical advances that could extend your lifespans. Energy systems that could end resource scarcity. Communications networks that could unite your worlds in ways your current technology can't begin to approach. Exile slowly settled back into their command chair, their color shifting to the deep blue of deep contemplation. "And what do you want in return for these gifts?" "Partnership," Maya replied simply. "Humanity doesn't seek to dominate or control. We want to establish a new framework for interstellar relations, one based on innovation, cooperation, and the understanding that true strength comes from lifting others up, not pushing them down." The silence that followed was profound. Generations of Kralaxian military doctrine warred with the undeniable evidence before them. They had encountered hundreds of species in their history, and all had either tried to fight them or submitted to their rule. None had ever demonstrated such complete technological superiority while simultaneously offering peace. "There will be resistance," Zextal finally said. "Many in our empire will see this as weakness." Maya nodded. "Change is never easy. But consider this. In the time we've been talking, how many of your military secrets have we already uncovered? How many of your strategies have we already countered? The old way of thinking is obsolete. The question isn't whether change will come, but whether you will help guide it." As if to emphasize her point, new data began streaming across the Kralaxian command displays. Their own systems were revealing the extent of human infiltration, showing them just how completely their military superiority had been superseded. But instead of feeling threatened, Zextal found themselves experiencing an unfamiliar emotion: hope. The age of conquest was ending, not with a grand battle or a heroic last stand, but with the quiet revelation that humanity had already won, not through force, but through the power of innovation and the courage to imagine a different future. The echoes of this moment would reshape the galaxy for generations to come. The quantum gambit. The news of humanity's technological superiority and their unconventional peace offer spread through the Kralaxian Empire like a quantum shockwave. On the bridge of the Nightshade, Maya watched the unfolding chaos through the ship's quantum observation network. Entire warrior clans were mobilizing, refusing to accept the High Command's decision to negotiate. Ancient rivalries were reigniting as opportunistic factions saw a chance to seize power in the confusion. "Captain," Lieutenant Chen's voice carried a note of urgency. "We're detecting quantum surge signatures from the Nexus array. The separatist factions are attempting to activate the forbidden protocols." Maya had expected this. The Kralaxian Empire's history was written in conquest and dominance. Change wouldn't come easily. "Initiate Quantum Protocol Omega," she ordered, "and get me a direct line to High Commander Zextal." The holographic communication system sparkled to life, revealing Zextal surrounded by arguing council members. The massive alien scales had taken on the deep crimson of battle readiness. "Captain Patel, the situation is deteriorating. The Seventh Fleet has declared independence and is mobilizing for war. They've activated weapons that even we had deemed too dangerous to use." "We know," Maya replied calmly. "That's why we're about to show you something else we've been working on." Lieutenant Chen, execute. Across the Empire, human stealth ships that had been observing for decades began to act. The quantum virus they had planted earlier wasn't just for show. It had been laying the groundwork for this moment. As the separatist factions attempted to activate their most devastating weapons, they discovered that the fundamental laws of physics seemed to have turned against them. "Impossible," one of Zextal's advisors breathed, watching as mighty warships found their quantum weaponry refusing to function. "You've changed the quantum configuration of space itself in those regions." Maya nodded. "We call it environmental quantum engineering. Rather than building bigger weapons, we learn to adjust the basic rules that allow weapons to function. In the affected spaces, certain types of quantum interactions simply cannot occur." The implications were staggering. Humanity hadn't just developed better technology. They had learned to rewrite the local laws of physics itself. The separatists found their mightiest warships reduced to drifting hulks, unable to engage their quantum drives or power their weapons. But Maya knew that technology alone wouldn't be enough. "High Commander, now comes the crucial part. Your people need to see that this new path offers more than just peace. It offers growth beyond anything they've imagined." On her signal, The Nightshade's quantum field expanded, encompassing the Kralaxian flagship. The alien vessel's systems began to transform as humanity's quantum architecture merged with their technology. Efficiency increased exponentially. Power systems that had been considered state-of-the-art became obsolete as new possibilities emerged. "This is just the beginning," Maya explained as the Kralaxian crew watched their ship evolve. "The quantum integration protocols we're sharing will allow your entire civilization to advance in ways your current trajectory could never achieve. But it requires choosing cooperation over conflict." Zextal moved through their transformed command center, watching as ancient systems bloomed with new potential. "You could have simply disabled our civilization, forced us to submit through superior technology. Why offer us this choice?" "Because true change can't be forced," Maya replied. "It has to be chosen. Humanity learned that lesson through centuries of our own conflicts. We're not here to conquer or dominate. We're here to show you a different way forward." The Quantum Observation Network showed the impact spreading across the Empire. As news of the transformation reached other worlds, the resistance began to falter. It wasn't just the demonstration of power that swayed them. It was the vision of what their civilization could become. But amid the growing acceptance, Maya detected something troubling. Deep in the quantum data streams, patterns were emerging that suggested not everyone would be convinced so easily. Some would see humanity's approach as weakness, an opportunity to strike through means that even the Kralaxians had never contemplated. "Captain," Rodriguez called from his station, "we're detecting unusual quantum signatures from the outer rim. Something's coming, something that doesn't match any known configuration." Maya studied the data, her expression growing serious. Their victory over the Kralaxians had sent ripples through the galaxy, and something ancient and dangerous had taken notice. The next challenge wouldn't come from those who clung to old ways of warfare, but from something that had been waiting in the darkness between stars, watching civilizations rise and fall. The quantum gambit had succeeded, but it had also drawn the attention of forces that would test humanity's new paradigm in ways they couldn't yet imagine. The true test of their philosophy of peace through innovation was about to begin. Breaking point. The anomaly emerged from the depths of space like a tear in reality itself. Through the Nightshade's quantum sensors, Maya watched as it defied every principle of physics they thought they understood. It wasn't just that their instruments couldn't analyze it. It seemed to actively resist being observed, as if the very act of measurement caused it to shift and change. Multiple quantum signatures detected, Lieutenant Chen reported, her hands dancing across her console. "They're evolving. Every time we identify a pattern, it transforms into something new." The Kralaxian fleet, now integrated with human quantum technology, formed a defensive perimeter alongside Earth's stealth ships. High Commander Zextal's voice crackled through the quantum comm. "Our ancestral records speak of something like this. The Void Dancers, beings that existed before solid matter, who saw the emergence of physical life as an affront to the purity of quantum probability." Maya absorbed this information, watching as the anomaly continued to grow. "They're not just resistant to our quantum manipulation technology," she realized. "They're using our own innovations against us. Every attempt to analyze them gives them more information about our capabilities." The first attack came without warning. Reality itself seemed to shudder as waves of pure probability crashed against their defenses. Ships that had been quantum-phased found themselves suddenly solid, while others became trapped between states of existence. The carefully constructed quantum architecture that humanity had used to reshape warfare began to unravel. "All ships, disengage quantum systems," Maya commanded. "Revert to classical physics only." It was like asking soldiers to throw down their rifles and pick up stones, but she had seen something in the attack pattern, something that reminded her of an old Earth philosophy about the strength of emptiness. The Kralaxian ships followed suit, their crews trusting in the humans who had so recently been their enemies. As their advanced systems powered down, the attacks seemed to lose focus, passing through their ships with decreasing effect. Their quantum predators, Maya explained to Zextal through their now primitive radio link. They don't just manipulate quantum states, they feed on complexity itself. Our advanced technology is like a beacon to them. Then we are defenseless, Zextal responded, their voice carrying the weight of a warrior facing an impossible battle. No, Maya smiled. We're going back to basics. Lieutenant Chen, initiate Project Legacy. Deep within the Nightshade's core, a different kind of technology awakened. Not the quantum manipulation that had revolutionized space travel, but something older. Something that humans had been developing since they first looked up at the stars. An understanding of the fundamental simplicity that underlaid all complexity. We've been approaching this wrong, Maya announced to the combined fleet. These beings exist in a state of pure quantum possibility. They're vulnerable not to our most advanced technology, but to absolute certainty, to the collapse of quantum states into single, definite outcomes. The Nightshade's hull began to change, not through quantum manipulation, but through precisely calibrated electromagnetic fields. The ship became a focal point of classical physics, a space where quantum uncertainty could not exist. Around them, the Void Dancer's attack patterns began to show signs of distress. All ships begin emission of coherent radiation pulses on these frequencies, Maya ordered, transmitting the specifications. Create zones of quantum collapse. Force reality to pick a single state and stick to it. The combined fleet executed the strategy with precision. Where their quantum technology had failed, the simple act of observation, the most basic principle of quantum mechanics, began to turn the tide. The Void Dancers found themselves trapped in regions where probability collapsed into certainty, their fluid nature becoming their greatest weakness. But victory wouldn't come through destruction. As the beings struggled against the encroaching wave of determinism, Maya saw an opportunity for something more profound. We're not trying to destroy them, she transmitted to the fleet. We're showing them that complexity and simplicity can coexist, that certainty and probability can dance together without one consuming the other. The quantum sensors detected a change in the Void Dancer's behavior. Their attacks ceased, replaced by patterns that seemed almost curious. Through the simplest of technologies, humanity had demonstrated something these ancient beings had never encountered: the ability to choose when to embrace complexity and when to return to simplicity. They're attempting to communicate, Chen announced, her console displaying patterns that pulsed with mathematical precision. I think they're offering to teach us. Maya exchanged looks with her crew, seeing the same realization in their eyes. They had faced an enemy that could have consumed their civilization, and instead of destroying them, they had opened a dialogue. Just as with the Kralaxians, humanity's greatest victory had come not through superior firepower or even superior technology, but through the ability to see beyond the obvious solution. As the first translations of the Void Dancer's mathematical language began to emerge, Maya realized that they stood on the brink of understanding something far greater than quantum mechanics. They were learning how to bridge the gap between the probable and the certain, between the complex and the simple, between the ancient and the new. The breaking point had come not in the form of destruction, but in the shattering of limitations they hadn't even known existed. Dawn of understanding. 1 year after the encounter with the Void Dancers, the Great Hall of Earth's quantum assembly hummed with activity. Representatives from 100 species gathered beneath its crystalline dome, including formerly warlike Kralaxians, enigmatic Void Dancers in their containment fields, and dozens of civilizations that had emerged from hiding after witnessing humanity's revolutionary approach to interstellar relations. Maya Patel stood at the central podium, no longer wearing her captain's uniform, but the simple diplomatic attire that had become standard in this new era. The Nightshade, now a symbol of transformation rather than military might, hung in orbit above, its quantum architecture serving as a bridge between different forms of existence. A year ago, we faced extinction, Maya began, her voice carrying to all corners of the hall through quantum resonance fields. Not just humanity, not just the Kralaxian Empire, but the very concept of physical existence as we knew it. We survived not because we were stronger, not because we had better weapons, but because we dared to question our most basic assumptions about strength and progress. The Void Dancer's mathematical patterns shimmered in agreement, their once hostile quantum fluctuations now forming complex symphonies of probability and certainty. Through them, humanity had learned that the universe was far stranger and more wonderful than they had imagined. The being's ancient knowledge, combined with human innovation, had opened doorways to understanding that neither civilization could have achieved alone. The quantum assembly exists not to govern or control, Maya continued, but to serve as a forum for innovation and exchange. Every species here brings unique perspectives, different ways of perceiving and interacting with reality itself. Our strength lies not in uniformity, but in the endless possibilities that arise when different viewpoints converge. High Commander Exile, now the Kralaxian representative to the Assembly, rose to speak. Their once fearsome warrior frame now carried tools of science and diplomacy. The old Kralaxian Empire was built on the belief that strength came from dominance. Humanity showed us a different truth, that true power lies in the ability to adapt, to grow, to transform without losing one's essential nature. The Assembly Hall itself was a testament to this philosophy. Its quantum architecture allowed each species to perceive and interact with their environment in ways that made sense to their unique biology and culture. The Void Dancers could exist in states of quantum probability, while physical beings walked through zones of classical certainty. Ancient enemies found themselves capable of communication and cooperation in ways that would have seemed impossible just a year before. But our greatest challenge lies ahead, Maya reminded them. The universe is vast, and we have only begun to understand its mysteries. The Void Dancers have shown us glimpses of realities beyond our comprehension, threats and opportunities that will require all of our combined wisdom to face. As if in response, the quantum sensors detected a new anomaly at the edge of known space. But this time, instead of fear, the discovery brought excitement. The Assembly had created something unprecedented, a civilization capable of facing the unknown with curiosity rather than fear, with innovation rather than weapons. We stand at the dawn of a new age, Maya declared, watching as data from the anomaly began flowing through the Assembly's quantum networks. Not an age of human dominance, or Kralaxian might, or even Void Dancer transcendence, but an age of infinite possibility. Every challenge we face, every mystery we uncover, adds another thread to the tapestry of our shared future. The holographic displays showed the first ships of the new Assembly exploration fleet preparing to depart. These vessels, built with technology that merged human innovation, Kralaxian engineering, and Void Dancer quantum principles, represented something entirely new in the galaxy. Ships designed not for war or conquest, but for pure discovery. Above them, the Nightshade's quantum field pulsed with new purpose. The ship that had changed the face of warfare would now lead humanity's first true expedition into the unknown, carrying representatives from all Assembly species. Maya would command this mission not as a military officer, but as an explorer, a diplomat, and a bridge between different ways of understanding reality itself. As the Assembly session concluded, Maya looked out at the gathered representatives. She saw not different species or competing interests, but partners in the greatest adventure any civilization had ever undertaken. They had learned that true strength lay not in the ability to destroy or dominate, but in the courage to reach beyond their limitations and imagine new possibilities. The dawn of understanding had broken across the galaxy, and its light would guide them into a future where the only boundaries were those of imagination itself. Humanity had not just survived. They had helped forge a new way of existence, where innovation, cooperation, and the endless quest for knowledge would light the way forward into the infinite mystery of space.